Howdy YouTube, it's me, TFR Wilderness. Welcome to my channel and welcome to my end of month bot haul because it's the final day of the month. It's Sunday, the 30th of April 2023. Time to do my end of month bot haul like I usually do it. Right. Yeah, before I get started, I think I'll take my jumper off. Because I'm wearing my Shockwave t-shirt. Yeah, I'll put it on this week. Picked it up at the last auto assembly in 2015. It's getting pretty faded now because it's been washed a bunch of times, but still good. And I really like this. This t-shirt. I thought I'd put it on this week. So yeah, so I'm wearing that for this video. So let's get cracking, shall we? I have got 16 purchases to get through. Got a bunch of stuff on the table. The way I do this, as I usually do it. I will show you my purchases or my things that arrive throughout the month in chronological order, and yeah, I will pick them up, show them to you, say a few things about them, and I've also got a bunch of prop bots in front of me because there's a number of figures that now I need some to do some examples with this month. Yeah, so without further ado, let's get cracking. So. First thing to arrive this month. Well, actually, it was the first day of the month, and I went up to Bury because I'm going back up to Bury again and volunteering on the East Lancs Railway for the Class 15 Preservation Society. But I'm only doing one day a month now. I'm not doing a fortnight or every 3 weeks like I was previously. I mean, I stopped going in. Was it 2019 because my mum got sick with cancer, and then I didn't actually come back until back in the last year. I started going again. I was away from it for nearly 3 years, but I started doing it again, but only one day a month. And I went up to Bury, and when I go up to Bury, there is, when I go uptown to have my breakfast at the Witherspoons, but within easy walking distance there is a Smith's, and I knew that there was new figures coming out. Like Legacy Wave 3 figures and Studio Series, Rise of the Beasts Studio Series Wave 1 figures was cropping up in Smiths. So I thought, oh no, I'm gonna nip over to Smiths and see what I can pick up. So after I had my breakfast, I nipped across the inner ring road, went across to Smiths, had a look to see what they've got, and I picked up a few things. So first guy I picked up was this guy. Yeah. Legacy Evolution Shrapnel, really good figure, much better than Kickback in my opinion. I wasn't a fan of the Kickback mould, but this mould, really solid, pretty cool. It's got a fairly straightforward transformation, but it's an Insecticon, they don't do a lot. He's really cool, just wish he had chrome bits for the feelers, though I have got one of those Molotov chrome pens. I mean, I did it to my Legends one. I gave him chrome feelers, so yeah, I could do it to this guy if I wanted to. Really good figure, decent transformation, looks the part. He's pretty cool, so I got him. Legacy Evolution Deluxe Shrapnel. Then dipping into the Transformers Earthspark toy line. Got Deluxe Twitch. Fiddly little gal, this one, to transform, but a decent looking figure, lots of articulation, good likeness for the character from the show. Like I said, the transformation's a bit awkward on it, but apart from that, she's a decent looking figure, so I managed to get hold of her. I mean, I got the Bumblebee at I got Deluxe Bumblebee at the Minicon last month, so this is the second Earthspark figure that I've got. I'm on the fence about getting Megatron. He's sort of readily available now, but I want to get hold of Thrash next. He's my next target, but he's a warrior class rather than a deluxe, but be looking at getting hold of him next month maybe. But yeah, managed to get hold of Twitch. She's okay. Then my first Rise of the Beasts Studio Series figure. Got hold of Battletrap. There's things about this I like. It's orange. I like the colour orange. Lots of moulded detail on it. I like moulded detail. The up mode's pretty cool, but it doesn't quite plug together properly. You know, the top section of the cab doesn't quite sit down on the rest of the vehicle, so you've got like a noticeable gap. Kind of fussy transformation, but pretty cool looking figure. The movie's coming out, you know, in a month or so, so looking forward to that. I'm sure he's going to be a badass character in the movie, but I managed to get him. He's okay, like I said, he's got some minor issues, but on the whole, I kind of like him. He's all right. And those were the 3 figures that I picked up on my little mini toy hunt up at Bury when I went over to Smith's. Of course, I did me stint at Smith's, and then I came back home, and when I got back home, there was a package waiting for me. Now, this is this next one is a carryover from last month. Back in the last month, I bought some extra comics with some of the cash I had left over from last month's haul, and I ordered some more comics off that usual eBay seller that I buy for, Susan A. Carter or Susanna Carter. Buying comics off her is very convenient. She lists loads and loads of the Marvel G1 comics, and what you can do is you can go onto her eBay items, you can pick the comic you want, add it to your basket, and just keep adding them to your basket. And when you pay for it, you only pay a single flat shipping fee of £3, so it keeps the price down, whereas if you bought them individually, you'd be racking up a £3 postage fee every time. But yeah, I'm buying a lot from her, so yeah. So I bought this back in the last month, and it didn't arrive in time for last month's haul, so it was something that arrived the first day of this month. So I've got issue 177, 174 and 173, and that completes the 170 series. So I've got all of the 170 series comics now, so managed to do that. So that was completed that, and that was, like I said, that was a carryover from last month. I ordered them back in last month. They didn't arrive in time, so they arrived the first day of this month. So they arrived on the 1st of April, just like those bots I bought at Bury. So that's the first sort of day out of the way. Then I went online and did all my usual online ordering because it was the first day of the month, and the rest of the stuff arrived throughout the course of the month. And the next thing to arrive was more comics. Again, from Susanna A. Carter, or Susan Carter. So I've got 182, 183, 184, 186, 188, and that then completes the 180 series. So I've got all the 180 comics, and then we've got 195 and 199. Now 199, when I originally collected these comics back in the when was it? Yeah, 1989. So I collected them from like 1984 through to like 1989, and I stopped collecting them with this issue, 199. This was the last issue that I bought before I quit, you know, collecting comics when I was a kid. So yeah, this is where it ended for me as a kid, and this is where it's going to end for me currently, because I want to get all the first 199 comics. Once I've got those, I might decide to continue into the 200 series, but we'll have to wait and see about that. So that's quite a significant issue, because that was the last issue that I got as a kid, and I've now finally got hold of it. And of course, with these two issues, I've now completed the 190 series. So I'm doing really well picking up these Marvel G1 comics, as I only started collecting them seriously at TF Nation last year. So that was them. Also, with that last lot of comics, Susanna Carter, she sent me a little Brucey bonus. She sent me these. Now these are the, you know, last year Royal Mail did these special commemorative Transformer stamps. Well, these are sort of postcard prints of those stamps, and she sent me a pack of them. I didn't actually get the limited edition stamp pack when they did it, but obviously you've got Optimus Prime, you've got Megatron, you've got Bumblebee, you've got Starscream, Grimlock, Shockwave, RC, Soundwave, and then you got Slug or Slag. Then you got Swoop, Sludge, Snarl, Grimlock, and then one with all the Dinobots on it. So yeah, that was pretty cool. She didn't need to send me that, but she did. But then again, I've been such a good customer for her lately, buying all these comics from her, that she's decided to give me a Brucey bonus. And this isn't the only Brucey bonus I've got out of her this month. So yeah, so I managed to get those out of her. That was pretty cool. And they all arrived on the 5th. So moving on to the next arrival. On the 11th, my first Korean purchase of the month arrived. Tobot 2023 Tobot X. Now, the Tobot show has done a soft reboot. Got brand new. It's gone right back to the beginning. The original Tobot series, as you know, the characters have been rebooted, but it's the original characters, the original sort of storyline, kind of. They've gone back to basics and they've started all over again. But it is canon with the original show. From little bits I've seen in the episodes that I've watched, and yeah, so we've got new versions of X, Y, and Z. I decided to start with X. Done a review on him. This guy's a bit of a mixed bag for me, because there's some things about him I'm not too happy about. I don't like particularly, and other things I like a lot. His general aesthetic in robot mode looks really cool. I love the you know, like the face changer gimmick, and the fact that. You know, you get like the little robot dude that comes out, you know. So you got X, he's like little chibi robot form, and then you plug him back into the robot, and then he's a big ass Tobot X. Yeah, I love the aesthetic on the robot mode. I love the little sort of like headmaster gimmick, if you can call it that. And because he's kind of a headmaster now, and he's got these particular colours and this design in his robot mode, I'm kind of getting Chrome Dome vibes out of him. But he looks really cool in robot mode. But unfortunately, let down by lack of intermediate articulation. I mean, come on, this is 2023. Surely young toys can, you know, can put a few bicep swivels, thigh swivels, or waist joint in this thing to make it make it more, you know, articulated. I mean, yeah, due to transformation, he's got really deep knees, but that's the only thing he's got, apart from like the basic, you know, sort of head, shoulders, elbows, hips, and knees. I'm a bit disappointed they didn't go that far with the transformation. He's got some suspiciously thin joints on his elbows, which I'm a bit worried about, and also his alt mode. Even though it's an officially licensed Hyundai Ioniq 5, the proportions of the alt mode are all messed up. They're all like squished and chibified, you know, toyified. They're not. It's not a realistic scale model of the real world vehicle, which is what Hello Carbots did with their season 1 figures when they had the Hyundai license. But yeah, I'm a bit disappointed at that. But overall, he's really good. But, you know, it's let down by a few things, and my review was very much, you know, ins and outs and ups and downs, and yeah. I don't regret buying him, but, you know, these things are really expensive for me to import from Korea, and, you know, I expected more. I will be getting the other, you know, Y and Z. I have watched some episodes of the show. I'm quite enjoying what I've seen of the show so far, so I will be getting into this toy line a bit more. Though next month, I might be dipping into another toy line that's come out recently. There's a new toy line come out by the makers of Battle Watch Car called Metal Carbot, and they've released the first, was it 5 figures for the line, and they look pretty good. They're kind of chunky, but they're also considerably cheaper than these boys to buy, so I might be dipping into that line next month. But got hold of him, Tobot 2023, Tobot X. He's okay, he's alright. Now, that was on the 11th, then a couple of days later on the 14th. The next thing arrived, or the next couple of things arrived. my next Korean figure. Hello Carbot Mini Sonar Diver. Now, I've got the big figure of this. I did a review on it, and yeah, again, it's a Hello Carbot Mini. These Hello Carbot Mini toy line, they're going through some of the later sort of series figures. This is one of the movie figures. This is from the third movie, Save the Moon. He turns into a submarine, lacking paint apps as usual. But, you know, he's a pretty good downscaling of the big figure, and I kind of like him. He's got like the manipulator arms that stick out the front. He's a decent little figure, kind of expensive to buy. I mean, I bought this off an eBay seller for 20 odd quid, which, you know, for something that's basically a Legion scale figure, paying 20 odd quid, that's expensive. But if you used to buy these from the you know, the Korean retail sites like 11th Street and G Market, you can get these things for tuppence halfpenny. But then they whack on a massively expensive, you know, shipping fee. They say, oh, this thing weighs like 1.5 kilos, so we've got to charge you 30 quid to ship it from the other side of the world. And it's a scam to buy these things off the retail sites. I bought this guy off eBay. I found a seller that's selling the mini Carbots on eBay for 20-ish quid, which I'm still not comfortable paying that sort of money for these figures, but they're decent little figures, and it's a cost saving at the end of the day, because I'd much rather buy one of these at 20 odd quid than you know, two of these figures at like 60, 65, 70 quid. You know, it's an economy more than anything else. So yeah, so I will probably be buying another minifigure next month, you know, just to save a bit of money, because obviously there's a convention I'm going to be going to next month, the TF UK convention at Birmingham. I will be going to that, and I want to save a bit of money for that with my budget next month. So yeah, so I will be getting another Hello Carbot minifigure next month. So yeah, that was something else that arrived on the 14th. Also, another thing that arrived on the 14th, another comic. Issue 30, Decepticon Dam Busters. Now, I didn't buy this from my usual sort of eBay seller, Susanna Carter. I bought this from a different seller, mainly because this guy was selling this on an auction, and I got it for the starting bid, and with the postage it was like £5.25, which is still cheaper than buying it through, you know, Susanna Carter. So I went and did that. I went and bought this from a different seller, and I desperately needed, because there was a couple of issues for the 30 series that I was missing this month, but I managed to pick them up, and this was one of them, issue 30. So I finally got issue 30, got it for a sensible price from a different eBay seller, but I picked that up. That arrived on the 14th. And then next, Sunday the 16th of April, NEC Toy Fair. So got my early bird ticket. There we go. So yeah, I did my usual thing where I made arrangements to meet my mate Richard, went over to the NEC Birmingham, and got there for around about 8 o'clock, met my mate Richard, and we did our usual tactic when we go into the hall. You've got like the outside round, you've got all those sellers around the wall, so we do a lap around the outside, and then we get back to the front, and then we start zigzagging our way from the front towards the back. And then once we've done a complete, you know, walk around the entire hall, we then stop for a tea break at the cafe at the back. And then my mate Richard usually goes his separate ways, and then I go back and I pick up a few extra things, and I usually walk out the place at around about sort of 10:30 before the main crowds come in. So that's my usual tactic for the NEC Toy Fair. Unfortunately, we've only got 2 NEC Toy Fairs this year because of the organisers. Barry Potter has been having problems with the NEC you know, organisation. They used to have 4. They used to have like 1 in February, then you used to have the 2 like sort of April, September sort of time, and then you'd have the December 27th one. But the February and December events have been knocked on the head now. We've just got the 2 intermediate events. Yes, it's unfortunate that we've only got 2 NEC Toy Fairs, but it actually worked kind of well this time round because we know that it's one of only 2 NEC Toy Fairs this year. There seemed to be a lot more sellers at this particular event, and there was quite a good spread of Transformer toys at this one. So I did reasonably well. So anyway, me and my mate Richard started walking around, Started walking up the left wall, and came to a guy with a big, massive stall. He had some racking, some shelving at the back with some large boxed, sort of G1 and sort of early sort of toy figures on the back. And then he had lots of trays in the front with all sorts of different figures. And in the front corner, he had a tray with some KO bots in it. And when I walked past, I had a quick glance, and I saw a couple of KO oversized War for Cybertron Siege Hound figures, in various gaudy sort of colourways. But there was another figure just sat on top. Now, I did a review on this guy yesterday, and I've gone over it in the review I did yesterday, but I'm going to go over it again here, if you didn't watch that review. Yeah, so there was this figure sat on top, and I saw it and I thought, no way is that they've done a KO of that character. And I picked it up and looked at it and said, it bloody well is, it's him, it's that guy, it's that character. So I was looking at it and thinking, do I want to buy this? And I'm thinking, well, it's a nasty knockoff, it's the wrong colour, but it's a character I really like. So I thought, okay, and I put it back down and I started walking away, and then I looked back and I thought, you know what, I'm going to buy it. Picked it up, how much did this make? £2. Near enough. And then the guy said to me, he says, oh yeah, 2 for 1, do you want to buy one of the other figures as well? And I was thinking about it, shall I get one of those KO, oversized knockoff hound figures? And I thought, nah, I'm good, mate. I'm good with what I got. So I picked up this guy. Yeah, KO, oversized, Iron Factory, Doobie, or IDW Tarn. I love this thing so much. Yeah, I picked it up. It was in its alt mode, which is like that Cybertronian tank. I mean, just to transform this thing. Now, you have to parts form it to transform it, right? So, but it's dead easy to transform. But yeah, you get his... Oh, there we go. Yeah, you get his tank mode, Cybertronian tank mode. It's a thing, this is the mode it was in when I picked it up. And it's like these gaudy colours, this lime green, white, and the darker green. It just popped so much, and it was slightly mistransformed when I got it as well, because it had these arm bits were like sort of plugged into the front, or was it that way around? Yeah, it was slightly mistransformed. It was kind of like that, but the arms are supposed to plug on top of the treads. But yeah, it was, and as I was walking around and doing some of the other, looking at some of the other stalls, I got it out and had a mess with it, and then when I got to the, me and my mate Richard went to the cafe at the back. I got out and had a quick play with it, and it was really getting its hooks into me. It was. And yeah, but the fact that it's a parts form when you transform it is not great. It's not good. I mean, it's got so many things wrong with it. It's oversized. It's hollow. It's lightweight. It's got parts forming. The build quality is not great. Restricted articulation. It's got all those things that are wrong with this thing, being a KO bot. And yet, through all its faults, it just works. It just works as a KO of the character of Tarn. It just works so much, and it also works as a KO in gaudy colours. It just works in every way. It just works so much, and I love this thing. I absolutely adore it. It's so cool. And I didn't realise they'd done a KO of Tarn, and here it is. I managed to pick one up. I didn't see any others in that guy's stall. He had a bunch of other sort of KO bots in bags on his stall, but he only had one of these. And yeah, I saw it and picked it up, and I'm so glad that I did. It only cost me £2, but really love this thing. It is so awesome. And if you're wondering what figure it's based upon, it's actually an oversized KO of the Iron Factory Tarn, or Doobie. It is. It's basically this guy. So this guy upscaled and simplified and given a gaudy colour paint scheme. You know, it is him. It's him. And yeah, it's I can't believe they did this. So yeah, an oversized, upscaled, you know, Iron Factory Tarn in, you know, sort of minty fresh colours. You know, it's but it just works. It just works so much. And I picked it up, and it was the first thing I picked up at the NEC Toy Fair, and I was absolutely blown away by it. And yeah, so he's definite candidate for top bot of the month. Even given all his faults, you know, I love this thing so much, and he's a candidate for top bot of the month this month. So that was the first thing I picked up, and of course walked around, and saw another guy had that that Buzzworthy Bumblebee Creatures Collide, you know, sort of 4-pack with, you know, Goldbug, Sky Wasp, Predacon, Scorponok, and Ransack in it for 50 quid. And I was looking at that and thinking, oh, and I'd like that set just for the Goldbug mould. And I was thinking, well, you know, 50 quid for a 4-pack of Deluxes, even though technically one of them's, you know, kind of a Legends figure, but yeah, that's neither here nor there. But I saw that for 50 quid, and I was thinking about that, and I was walking round, and then eventually we get round to Toys R Us, because he was there, and went on to Toys R Us's stall, and he had that pack as well. And I asked him, I says, how much are you doing this for? And he said 35 quid, and I thought, you're doing that Buzzworthy Bumblebee Creatures Collide 4-pack for 35 quid. And then I said, well, is it all there? Is the Goldbug in there? And he says, well, open it up. It was sealed, so I opened it up and I pulled it out, and sure enough, all the figures were in there, all the accessories were all bagged up, you know, it's all complete. So I thought, yeah, hell yeah, I'm buying that. So yeah, I went ahead and bought it. So obviously I bought it for this guy, I bought it for Goldbug. Now this mould, I mean, I didn't get the Netflix Bumblebee version of this mould, but I wanted this version because it's Goldbug, because in the Marvel G1 comics Bumblebee gets blown up by Galvatron, and then Retgar finds him, builds him up as Goldbug, and then he hooks up with the throttle bots and starts hanging around with them. And Goldbug is a badass in the Marvel G1 comic compared to Bumblebee. You know, he's a real badass, and I wanted a decent version of Goldbug, and this is it. This mould is way more complicated than it needs to be. The transformation on it is crazy. So many flips and turns, especially on the legs, you know. But, you know, it is what it is. It's a really cool figure, and I really like it, and I'm glad that I got it. And in buying that multi-pack of 4 figures for 35 quid, I mean, this guy only cost me, what, £8.75, technically. So, yeah, he's really, really cheap. So, yeah, I managed to get hold of him, and he's really, really good. And then the other characters that came in this Buzzworthy Bumblebee Creatures Collide set, starting with Ransack. Now I've got Kickback. I've got the Evolution Wave 1 Kickback. Not impressed with him. He's on the shelf up here as one of the worst bots I got last year. I'm not a fan of this mold because it's so simplistic. You know, it doesn't do a lot. He basically just lies down, you fold out a few things, and oh, there you go, you've got a grasshopper. You know, it's... Yeah, I wish it did more. This version, it's got this weird sort of translucent, almost translucent yellow plastic that they've used on some of the parts. It does look more interesting in these colours, but at the end of the day, it's still Legacy Kickback mould, and I'm not a fan of the mould. And it does look better in these colours, I suppose, as Ransack, but I'm not a huge fan of this mould. And yeah, I've got another one, and I wish I could have left it in the box, you know, tied into the box with the others, but because of I needed it to take it out for the thumbnail of the video, yeah, I had to get him out. So yeah, I got him out. Buzzworthy Bumblebee Creatures Collide Ransack. And then the other two. Sky Wasp. Waspinator repaint into Skywarp. Yeah, again, I've got the Kingdom Waspinator mould. It's alright. I prefer the Thrilling 30s version of the mould. It's way better in my opinion than the Kingdom version. This thing, I mean, it's the legs. I mean, the bug legs just stick out all over the place. And I know it's, you know, it's him. It's Skywarp done as an Insecticon or a Predacon. It is what it is. I'm not a fan of this mould particularly, and this version of the mould doesn't do anything for me. I know Few Adam loves his Skywarp moulds, but then again, somebody sent him one already, so yeah. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this, but you know, it came as a figure in that multi-pack, so yeah, I got one. And then this guy, Predacon Scorponok. Now again, I've got the Kingdom Deluxe Scorponok, and I got it the same time as Kingdom Trax from the same shipment, and we all know how bad that Kingdom Trax figure is, and he's up there somewhere. Oh, it was the year before, wasn't it? Yeah, it was not last year, it was the year before. But Kingdom's Trax was on my worst box of 2021. Now, this figure, I took it off the card for the box, and then I thought, okay, I'll transform in it, and then I reminded myself how bad this mould is, how bad the transformation is on this mould. The transformation is so half-arsed on this. It doesn't transform properly. You sort of split the chest open, flip the waist round, fold it up, and then you tuck one of the legs up into his chest, you know, like that, and the other leg just sort of spread eagles up the back of his tail, and the bug legs keep popping off when you're trying to put them into position. It's not good. It's not good, the transformation on this thing. I hate the transformation on this thing. It just really doesn't work that well. It doesn't transform properly, in my opinion. Stuff doesn't plug in properly. It looks like a half-finished, half-baked, sort of transformation scheme. And then you get it in these colours. I suppose it looks interesting in these colours, but if I had to go between the two different versions, I'd go with the the Kingdom one. And another problem with this mould, it's a deluxe. He's very sort of stocky and stumpy. He's got very short legs and a stocky torso. This guy should have been a Voyager, because in the original Beast Wars, Scorponok was a huge character compared to the others. He wasn't quite as big as Megatron, but he was still, he was a Voyager figure against the other Deluxes, and that's what this guy should have been. They should have scaled him up to like a Voyager. But no, he's a scrawny, he's a stumpy Deluxe at best, and I'm just not a fan of this mould at all. And getting this mould again in these colours just hasn't improved my opinion on it, and it's just brought this mould to my attention more so than it did before, because last time he got overshadowed so much by Kingdom Trax, but this time he's got the floor to himself, and yeah, I really don't like this thing. So that was the thing I got from Mr. Toys R Us. So it was great to meet him, and while I was talking to him, I mentioned to him there was another figure that I was thinking of buying. I was looking to buy it from KTRT. It was that Doctor Wu Energy Dragon, that like little miniature Trypticon. But he said, oh yeah, I got mine from ShowZ. Oh, you got to go onto the ShowZ website, use my code, blah blah blah, and yeah, you'll get discount shipping and all this. So I listened to him, and I looked on the ShowZ website, and sure enough, I could get it a lot cheaper through ShowZ than KTRT. And I went ahead and bought it, and through Toys R Us's sort of recommendation, I went ahead, opened a ShowZ account, and I bought that figure from ShowZ. But I said to him, I said, will it arrive before the end of the month? And he assured me that it would. So we'll have to get back to that at a later date, but I'm still going around the NEC Toy Fair. So yeah, I saw Toys R Us and bought a few, bought that pack of figures off him. And next, I went around to the Geekology stall, and Sven was there, and he had some of the Wave 3 Legacy figures in stock. And I went and picked up this guy, Legacy Evolution Crashbar. Now, I was on the fence about getting this guy. When I saw the pictures of him, I wasn't too taken by his alt mode, because the other Junkions, they have like, they turn into scrambler bikes, you know, they turn into off-road sort of scrambler bikes, where this guy transforms into almost like a junk version of a sports bike. And I wasn't too taken by his alt mode, and the robot mode looks okay. And when I got home, I didn't mess around with him straight away. I kept him in the box, and it wasn't until a few days later until I actually got him out and started messing with him. Oh my god, this thing is awesome. Wow, in hand, this thing is amazing, absolutely amazing. Yes, he's got, you know, some parts forming pieces. He's got these exhaust pipes which you plug on his back, which form, you know, like the exhaust of the motorcycle mode, and then these bits which form like saddlebags on the back of the bike. Transformations, a little fiddly, but you know, once you get it, once you do it, it just works so well. I mean, in bike mode, it just looks so cool. I mean, even though it's not a scrambler bike, I don't mind so much. The bike mode looks so cool. The sculpting and the colours on this, the asymmetrical legs and the head sculpt. I mean, man, that head sculpt, you know, robotic facial hair, I'm all over that. And you look at that head sculpt, or I look at that head sculpt, and I just hear Ace of Spades by Motorhead playing in my head, because if there was a robot version of Lemmy from Motorhead, this would be it. This would be him. This would be Lemmy from Motorhead, you know, masquerading as a Junkion. I love this thing. It is awesome. It is amazing, but I almost damaged it when I was trying to transform it, because I was a bit confused about the transformation. I've put some stress marks on some of these sort of bits on his shoulder, but I haven't broken it, fortunately. But yeah, I love this thing. It's so good. He just, in hand, he just looks so much better than he does in the pictures. Just so much better in hand. He's an awesome little figure. And I haven't really messed around with the whole Evo Fusion, you know, sort of, you know, swap and change, you know, gimmick with these Junkions. I haven't messed with it at all. I haven't really bothered to take him apart. You can transform him for the most part without parts forming, though you have to mess around with the accessories. But apart from that, he's so awesome. I love this guy so much. And he's another candidate for a top bot this month. So I've actually this month I've got a couple of bots that qualify, in my opinion, for my, you know, my first bot this month, and it's really tough to decide which one I want to make my top bot. But anyway, let's carry on. So I managed to pick him up from the Geekology, from Sven on the Geekology stall. So I walked around some more, then found another stall selling some random Transformers bits, and I saw a figure on the stall, and I thought, yep, I'm going to pick that up. Transformers animated Voyager Bulkhead. Now I've got the leader class one with the you know, the lights and sounds, and I will say, if you press his chest button repeatedly, you can get him to say rude words. I'm not going to demonstrate it on this video because my video might get flagged up, but there you go. This guy's all right. He's super chunky. He looks all right. He's missing a couple of fingers off his fists. He has got the launcher gimmick, though I'm not going to do it because coiling the thing back up into his fist is a bit of a pain. He's all right. He's okay. I saw him. I thought, yeah, I'll get hold of that, because, you know, I've got I've got the leader class one. I kind of fancy getting the Voyager one, so managed to pick up the Voyager one, and he's all right. He's okay. And then walking around, I didn't have much money left, and I had it in mind. I wanted to save some money for the end of the month because there was some more comics I wanted to buy. And so I was walking around, and in the front left corner on the inside, there was a guy, you know, some Transformer stuff on his stall, and it's one of the dealers that was at the Minicon last month. It's was it Starbase 55? He was there as well, so I had a good, you know, natter with him, and I told him I was a YouTuber, so whether or not he subscribed to my channel, was watching this video. Hello, Mr. Starbase 55. Anyway, so I looked at the stuff on his store, and I saw something. I think, well, I've kind of wanted to get that mould at some point, so I went ahead and bought it. Transformers the movie, as in 2007 movie, Deluxe drone Payload. Now, I like the look of the robot mode on this guy. I mean, yeah, he's one of those drone figures that's got that stupid, you know, sort of monocle camera head sculpt, which isn't great. His robot mode looks good. I love his alt mode. He's like an armoured car, you know, like an armoured truck, for doing the, sending them, transporting the money to the banks and stuff. You know, it's one of those. And they also did that that sort of like Mountain Dew-esque version that they did later on, which I would prefer to have had that version of the mold, but this one was all right. The only thing with this figure, it's got a stupid gimmick. It's got this. Right. So it's got this thing that you push in at the back. So from the front he looks okay, but then you turn him around, he's got this stupid thing sticking out the back. It's a shame it doesn't fold up into his backpack. You know, it's always going to be sticking out the back. I mean, the kibble management on this thing's kind of interesting because he has like all the panels from the truck mode sort of fold onto his shoulders like these wings. It looks kind of cool. I like his robot mode, but he's just kind of ruined by the gimmick, unfortunately. But I've kind of been on the fence about getting this guy, so I managed to pick him up finally. And he was the last thing I got at the NEC Toy Fair. So I did quite well at the NEC Toy Fair. Got some interesting bits and pieces. And so that was on the 16th. So I didn't have much money left at this point. So we're moving into the final section, well, the final half of the month. So next, the 18th. Now, this one. A purchase that I made at the beginning of the month, and it finally arrived on the 18th. I bought it off an AliExpress seller. And it's a new third-party Legends or Legion class figure because it's very, very small. Now, another guy I saw at the Minicon last month was at Legends of Cybertron reviews, John. I had a word with him and been watching his videos because he's like a keen like Legends collector, and he likes to collect all the Legends from all the various companies. Have you got one of these? This is a new third-party. I mean, to call it a Legends class is a bit of a stretch because it's really, really small. This is a new third-party company that's come out called MengPiHou Studios, or MPH Studios. This is their first product, S01 Xiao Beng, or Beachcomber. Now, this thing is tiny, right? Just to give you an idea how small it is, here's a G1 Micromaster. So he's the same size as a G1 Micromaster, and here is a Minicon, an original Cybertron Minicon. So, you know, he's the same size as a Micromaster or a Minicon. Now, I decided to get out my other Legends Beachcombers because I like to collect Beachcomber. He's like one of the characters I like to get all the molds for. So we've got, there he is next to the Power of the Primes Legends Beachcomber, who's absolutely massive. Then we've got Iron Factory Bay Razor. Obviously, I thought I'd throw in the venerable G1 in there. And this guy is one of my Centenary bots. So spoilers for my 900 subs review. Yeah, it's this guy. Not Masterpiece Sunstreaker. Yeah, due to a discrepancy that I made in my numbering system back in the day. Then we've got the Magic Square 4-wheel drive. Then we've got New Age Jones. Now, this guy looks the most, in mould-wise, to New Age Jones in terms of aesthetic. He looks a lot like Jones, but smaller. And then the smallest Beachcomber I've got, the Dr. Wu Big Surge. So yeah, he's small, but articulation and engineering on this thing is insane. Right. He's got a head rotation. Shoulders go out. Go all the way around. 90-degree elbow. Bicep swivel. Right. Now you're prepared to have your mind blown. Right. Waist joint. 90-degree ab crunch. The little flap on the front, that flips up as well. Right. Ball jointed hips. Thigh swivel. Deep knee bend. And an ankle tilt. That is insane how much articulation this thing's got. It's got pinned wheels that are painted. My only gripes on this thing is when it's in alt mode. The alt mode's a bit stunted, and the heel panels, they've got nowhere to go, so they just fold up underneath the alt mode, and they're sort of sticking out under the alt mode. But apart from that, this thing's amazing. First product from this new company, MPH Studios, or MengPiHou Studios. This thing is amazing. He's awesome. I love this thing. It is so good. And again, another candidate for top bot of the month. Yeah. So, Mr. Legends of Cybertron John, or Locker John, have you got one of these, mate? I bet you haven't. They've also got a... oh, I can take this off now because we're done talking about the NEC Toy Fair. Yeah, we've... they've announced a G1-esque... what's it called? Warpath. Looking at the pictures of it, it looks just like the G1 toy, and yet it's got, you can see from the mold, it's got double jointed elbows and, you know, working leg joints, and I might be tempted to get that as well when that comes out. If this MengPiHou Studios is going to be doing all the mini Autobots, sign me up for the Huffer when it comes out as well, because I character set collect Huffer as well as Beachcomber. So, yeah, got him. He's super, super awesome as well. He's an awesome figure that I managed to pick up. Right, so we're getting to the end of it now. So yeah, after NEC Toy Fair, I ordered some comics, and they arrived on the 20th. So we got issue number 8, which is one of the first 9 issues that I desperately need. Managed to get that. Issue 31 that completes my 30 series. So I've got all the 30 series, and I got these from that Susanna Carter again, and she sent me an issue 32. Now this is a duplicate because I've already got an issue 32, which I believe I bought from her a couple of months ago. So yeah. Yep, so I've got a duplicate issue 32. So I will be, the duplicates, I'll probably sell them on at some point if anybody's interested in collecting the G1 comics. I have got a bunch of duplicates that I will be selling on once I've done collecting the first 199 issues. But yeah, I've got a duplicate issue 32. So she put that in as a Brucey bonus. So not only did she send me those postcards, she also sent me a complete comic. Go figure. Anyway, so that arrived on the 20th, and then there was just one more thing left to arrive. This arrived on the 27th. And getting back to speaking to, Russ at Toys R Us at the NEC Toy Fair, he convinced me to buy or open an account with Show Z Store and buy a figure off Show Z. I did that immediately after I got home from the NEC Toy Fair on the 16th, and then it was a case of, you know, I've made my order, when's it going to arrive? I was kind of hoping it would arrive before the end of the month. And the tracking code, it worked for a couple of days and then it stopped. And I was getting a bit worried. I thought, where's it gone? I had echoes of my first purchase from TF Direct, because my first figure I bought off TF Direct, that got delayed for like 2 months. And because I picked the wrong shipping option. But anyway, eventually it did arrive on the 27th, and I did get it. So Russ, if you're watching, I've got him from Show Z using your code Dr. Wu Energy Dragon. So it's like a little mini Triptychon. This thing is awesome as well. This thing's amazing. Now I know this thing has got, you know, it's got dinosaur mode, it's got the base mode, and it's got like that sort of transporter stroke hovercraft mode, but it's also, it folds up into a cube. Now if you give me a moment, I will fold it up into his cube mode. Right, so he folds up into his cube mode, and this is really cool, but I wanted to know, will he fit in a 52 Toys box charger? Now, the 52 Toys, we know, is that Chinese company that's doing all these awesome, you know, sort of animalistic figures that fold into a cube. And this is the box charger for the best bot that I got last year. 52 Toys Beast Box White Noise. Absolutely love this thing. He's amazing. And this is his box charger. So this guy folds up and fits into here. Now, Energy Dragon is a perfect fit. Look at that. Doesn't matter which way in he goes, he fits. So Energy Dragon fits in a 52 Toys box charger. Now, it's got me thinking. Now, as this thing is such a perfect fit into a box charger, does that mean that this toy was originally designed by 52 Toys engineers and designers? I think it does, because it's purely coincidental that this guy fits so perfectly into a 52 Toys box charger. Now, hear me out. My theory is this. I reckon this was designed by 52 Toys designers and engineers, but because it's based on a Transformers character, i.e. Trypticon, I think they were worried about getting done for, you know, intellectual property theft, you know, by making an unauthorized version of a Transformers character, because normally 52 Toys, you know, they're doing their own thing with these, you know, these animal and sort of mech bots that they're creating. So they don't need to copy official, you know, Transformers characters. So I reckon their engineers designed this thing, but then the 52 Toys thingy said, no, we're not doing that. So what they did was they sold the designs to a different third-party company, in this case Dr. Wu, and they got no compunctions about making a, you know, a little mini legend scale Trypticon. So they went and made it, and of course they've done all the stupid they've done all manner of repaints of this mold, and yeah. So I think this is a 52 Toys product that was made and sold by Dr. Wu. Now, we do know that a lot of the third-party companies are affiliated with each other. And Dr. Wu and 52 Toys, there's probably a link between those. I mean, we know Dr. Wu's got a link with Mechanic Studios. You've got a link between DX9 and New Age and Unique Toys and Magic Square, just to name but a few. You know, there's all sorts of third-party companies that are all affiliated with each other. So yeah, I reckon that this is a 52 Toys figure or product that was designed and engineered by 52 Toys, but was actually produced by Dr. Wu. That's my theory on it. So yeah, this is an awesome figure as well. This is potentially a top bot of the month as well for this guy. So that's my review. Well, it's not a review, is it? That's my haul for this month. And as you can see, I've got a large wealth of interesting bits and pieces. And now we're at the end of the video. We're end of the haul, and I do what I call my first and worst. So basically, I pick up the thing I like the most, the thing I like the least, show you what first and worst, and they form the basis of my top and bottom bots, top and worst bots of the year, i.e. 2023. Now this month, the worst bot is a no-brainer. He's a no-brainer. But the first bot, I got so many first bots this month, it's difficult for me to choose. I mean, this guy for instance, and this guy also qualifies, as does this dude, and possibly even him. Now, whoever gets the first bot nomination this month, the others two will automatically get honourable mentions. But who's it going to be? it's so tough for me to decide between these three bots, because in my opinion they're all just as good as each other. They're all instant, hits. They're top bots. They've got so much going for them, but for all different reasons. Okay. First and worst. This thing. I mean, you might say, how the hell is this better than this or this? And I will say, I don't know. I can't explain it. This thing, I just love it so much. I've been messing around with it so much since I got it, and it's just blown me away with how awesome it is for all the wrong reasons. I mean, it's a typical KO bot. It's got so much bad stuff going on. It's lightweight. It's hollow. It's got restricted articulation. It's got parts forming. It's the wrong colour. It's got all that stuff going on. But yeah, it still works. It works as the character it's supposed to be. IDW Tarn or Iron Factory Tarn. And it also works as a tacky, oversized, recoloured, knockoff. It just works in all manner of respects to what it should be and what it actually is. And that, for me, is why I love this thing so much and why it's my first bot. Worst bot, pretty obvious. This thing. It's awful, this mould. The transformation just does not work properly. It's such a half-baked, half-arsed transformation on this guy. In these colours, the transparent purple and the black, I know it's supposed to be based on the G1 toy, well, or the B1 toy, should I say, and it does, but wow. Yeah. He's the worst bot I got this month. So these two, they're honourable mentions for my top bot of the month, well, top bot of the year video when I do it at the end of the year. So they're honourable mentions instantly. This guy just misses out, but he's still super awesome, especially because, he can do that. So, that's it. That's my haul for this month. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. It's gone over an hour, though hopefully after I edit it, it might be slightly less than an hour, but we'll have to wait and see. There we go. I've been TFI Wilderness. I will catch you all next time. Ta-da.